Hello and welcome to the Recursion Cafe, where we play games from the discard pile. In today's game of Star Wars Destiny, we have Tom on your left playing Red Hero. He's playing Clone Commander Cody, who likes to draw cards when he has control of the battlefield or when he gains control of the battlefield, and is able to discard a card from hand to focus a trooper die to any side. And alongside him, we have Captain Rex. First time you play a red weapon, equipment or vehicle any round, you may take control of the battlefield. So there's some good synergy there, and of course red typically likes control of the battlefield for a lot of their effects. Alongside that we have the plot, the mission that never ends, which is technically now 3 points, but with the team up fits perfectly with Cody and Rex for 30. When a trooper character is defeated, you can flip it over to roll their dice in and resolve them one last time. On the right we have myself playing Yellow Villain. We have Cad Bane, the Callous Outlaw with a very strong dice and an ability that lets him steal a weapon or equipment from any character he defeats before it redeploys, which is excellently strong. And we have alongside him Embo, who is able to use his character dice to take shields preemptively before taking damage, and is also able to resolve them against characters with bounties, increasing their value by 1. They come to 31 points, so to play them I have to play Extremist Campaign, which means I have to shuffle these 3 cards into my deck when the game begins, and they're all cards out of standard rotation, but the plot includes them regardless. It looks like we're starting on Hoth, and because we're starting on Tom's battlefield, he gets to draw a card with Cody. And this battlefield says power action, gain 2 actions, and then give control of the battlefield to your opponent, which is especially good if you have a way of taking the battlefield back. We'll start off with a standard issue blaster on Cody, which lets him roll in the dice when it's played. He rolls it straight into a 2 indirect damage. I think I decide to play Trick at this point, because Trick offers the opponent a choice when you show them the value of the card from your hand, and if there's only 1 dice in the field, then there is no choice, and I just don't want that in 2 indirect to start off with. Tom decides to power action Hoth, giving himself 2 actions. He will roll in and then immediately resolve 3 damage at Cad before I can mitigate it at all. It's very strong, that interaction. I then play a bounty, Dead or Alive, before Rex activates. I think I probably would have liked to go for Cody first, but because Tom has already activated, the value from Dead or Alive wouldn't trigger. Tom passes, and I roll an Embo for 2 range damage and a resource. It's a pretty good roll. You want resources at the start. Here's another one from Dead or Alive. Rex rolls in 2 indirect and a focus. I will again preemptively get rid of the 2 indirect with Complicated Profession. I think the reasoning there is Complicated Profession requires a resource to play, but is free, and I want to play something from hand probably, so I won't have that money left after I play that. Tom discards a card from hand to use the power action from Cody to focus a trooper die to any side. That is likely eventually to be 2 range damage. There we go. And I will play Smash. So I resolve one of my dice showing damage, and then remove a number of dice equal to half of that die's value, which is I think a slightly better version of Sure Shot, the FFG card. Tom passes, I gain a resource. I then play a pistol with ambush, Mando's pistol. Do I take the shield or do I roll in? I think I take the shield initially. Tom will pass, he's just waiting to mitigate or waiting to see what I do with my dice. I'll shoot Rex for 2 more damage, and of course play right into Tom's first aid, which I totally forgot about as a card. It heals 4 damage if it is the first round of the game, perfectly setting Tom back to 0 damage. Now at this point, I'm checking if there's any shenanigans that Tom has to take control of the battlefield. I don't think there are, so I will claim instead of resolving my dice so that I start the round next turn. I'll take a shield, and Tom, as soon as I do that, he takes advantage of this by playing a red weapon upgrade and taking control of the battlefield, which I totally forgot, and I realized I should have used the power action anyway so that Tom couldn't use it. Well, it's a learning point. He rolls in a 1 resource. I don't think that's particularly threatening on my side, so I don't think it's worth removing. and it looks like I'm overwriting that pistol for a black market arm, which gives Cad a total of 15 health. But I like to get the shield value first before overwriting, of course. I will roll in, and it looks like I roll a 3 damage on Cad's dice, a 2 on the black market arm, and a blank. Having a 3 that you don't have to pay for is just straight value, to be honest. Tom will hold the line and remove my 3. Play only if an opponent has more dice in their paws than yours. And we're sat here at a bit of an impasse. I have 1 resource. I don't think there are many upgrades that cost that, so I think I just roll Embo in anyway. Cody rolls in response, and we have a shield and 2 blanks, which is what I like to see. I'll take a resource, which brings me to 2. That opens up Headstrong, perhaps, but of course with Perimeter Outpost, that's pretty tough. He gives me the battlefield to take 2 actions, rolls in, and immediately resolves 3 damage again, taking my shields off and bringing me to 3 damage out of 15. I take that resource from Dead or Alive, and we re-roll with Headstrong, there it is, into a blank and another 3 damage. Tom doesn't mitigate, so I feel a little bit safer about that, and then I'll immediately play Smash and remove his 4 damage that he re-rolled into, as well as resolving the 3. There's a lot of value and action compression in that card. It's pretty excellent. So Tom has a shield and a blank showing left and no money. So either it's a discard to reroll, or he's considering the Cody discard to focus. He discards a mitigation to focus into a 2. It was unfortunate for him, I didn't roll any sides that were the same. I will await the dawn, taking away his 2 damage and soaking it up on Embo instead. It would have been perfect if Embo's character dice were out there showing anything so I could take shields, but sadly that wasn't the case. It looks like I continue punting damage into Rex, and Tom will claim the battlefield, which lets him draw a card at the start of next round. That consistently happens, I think, every round, so that's just a given that Tom will have 6 cards in hand to start with. So far, I've done 4 damage, Tom's done 4 damage. It's reasonably even so far. Tom starts with a utility belt onto Cody. It's pretty much always worth loading up your character that's not getting targeted down, unless it has redeploy. I roll in Cad, and we show 2 resources and a 2 discard, which is pretty threatening. Do you deal with it, or do you let it happen and continue to play cards? Tom will take 2 actions. Roll in Cody, showing 3 indirect damage and some other smaller utility effects, and he will just resolve 3 indirect already, just straight up. Before I can remove it, I'll take most of it on Embo. We resolve 2 discard, and it's an armory and another piece of mitigation. I think that's battle tactics. That's both of them gone. It's not a bad pull. And Tom is left on 2 or 3 cards. He takes a shield on Rex, awaiting, kind of biding his time. I play a Vibrasword on Embo. It would have been nice to play it on Cad because it has redeploy, but I think I wanted to put the pressure on and roll Cad in initially anyway. We both roll in a lot of dice, and there's not a great amount of damage showing straight up. Tom places a riot shield onto Rex to protect him from any more incoming damage. It looks like I reroll into some more, and a 2 disrupt, which is usually 2 shields on Embo. Unfortunately, this time Tom is not going for Embo. So Tom resolves 2 focus, showing 4 guns. Do I have a response? I have the money. I have some cards in hand. I decide instead to power action Embo and resolve 3 damage into Rex, which takes off the riot shield. Here comes 4 damage into Cad, which isn't ideal, but he's still only about halfway gone. He's got 15 health in total, so it's not so bad. I re-roll into more damage. Tom takes a shield, and I'm showing currently 3 and a 2. And that's just a ton of damage. The Vibrasword is a 4, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 damage. Tom claims that, which means I know that he doesn't have any mitigation left. So we count up health. It looks like Rex has 9 health functionally. I decide to kill him. At this point, I resolve my bounty. I gain a money. Tom resolves his mission never ends, which rolls in his dice. The standard issue blaster does redeploy and does technically roll in, but he cannot resolve it, of course. He can just resolve the trooper character dice. He decides to focus into a 2 guns and resolve that. Technically speaking, CAD should have stolen that blaster, but it was my first time playing CAD, and we both totally forgot. So, no worries. There's 2 more damage onto CAD. I then play Act of Cruelty, one of the cards that is brought in with my plot. It states that I deal 1 unblockable damage to each of an opponent's damaged characters, and then discard a random card from their hand for each defeated character they have. I probably should have played that to kill Rex, but I think I got too excited about all the damage. I just resolved it all in one go anyway. But these things are the things you learn as you get used to the deck. So Tom has 1 character left. He will overwrite into a Westar, which pings the damage if you have the battlefield, and he has typically always had the battlefield. Against 2 of my characters, one is not looking too healthy, but I'll slap on a blaster pistol that provides shields just to kind of give him a little bit more longevity, and then with the ambush action I will roll in. And I roll in not that much, to be honest. Some resources, some modifiers, and a 1 damage. So at this point we have a quick chat about whether or not using the power action gives the action and then gives control before the actions resolve or after the actions resolve. In the end, this is relevant for the Westar ping damage, in the end we decide that the actions are gained and then controls are given. I think that seems correct on hindsight. So I get the damage ping and then Tom rolls in. The control doesn't move until after all of these actions are resolved. So he rolls in 3 indirect but no other damage, and it's a tough call. He decides to re-roll into some more damage. Not ideal, but there it is. I decide the damage isn't that threatening, it's indirect anyway, so I pitch the re-roll. And again, I'm not presenting much either. So there's 2 damage direct. I have 2 health left. I'm doing the maths on this one. I do 1 damage with the black market arm. There isn't any direct damage showing so far, so I don't deem it a threat. We both have 2 resources, so we're both probably sitting on some mitigation. Tom discards the reroll, gets some direct damage. I will take a shield just to put myself 1 step out of kill range. And there's the 3 indirect onto Embo. It looks like I pitched some mitigation and reroll into just more guns. We're showing 6 ranged damage so far. What will Tom do about it? Both battle tactics are gone. Hold the line will only reduce damage by 2. There's military prowess, yep, removing 1 of the dice. If Rex was still alive, both of the dice could be removed, but that isn't the case at the moment. So I resolve the damage left, that's 4 into Cody, bringing him to 7 out of 12. Some more damage goes into Embo this time, which is a shifted target, but I suppose bringing both characters down to low health means that any indirect damage will become lethal eventually. I roll into a 2 damage on the Vibrasword, a 2 damage on the character dice, and a 1 resource. Tom pitches to reroll. The crash landing isn't going to do any good at this point. Into a shield and a resource. I will attach a bounty, which seems an odd choice, but it is relevant particularly for Embo's ability, just getting that little bit more value out of his power action. What is Tom going to do? Probably hit the shield, there it is. And then I power action to resolve the 2 as a 3 damage into Cody, bringing Cody to 9 out of 12. It's getting tight. That being said, on my side of the field, CAD is on 2 health left, and Embo is not looking too healthy either. There's a first aid, which heals 2, I then deal 2 back with the Vibrasword, and all is right with the world. Balance has been achieved. So, does Tom take the resource? Does he need it, or does he claim? If he doesn't claim, I probably claim. But he does claim, so I decide to reroll, see if I can get a 50-50 shot more damage. I do, so there's 2 more damage, bringing Cody to 1 health left. That being said, Cody has a potentially tactical mastery, so if he rolls in and just rolls the nuts, then I don't think I can hold on. So I get a damage ping from the Westar. I think I do that damage under the shield. I don't notice the shield, but there we go. He rolls in and rolls. There we are. There we go. We resolved it. He rolls 3 indirect, 1 ranged, and a focus, and 2 other sides that are not damage, unfortunately. And he resolves the 3 indirect straight up, which I take on Embo, leaving him on 2 health, which is dangerous. I do have to think about this, because any more rerolls into range damage can be lethal. Yeah, so Embo, 1 health left, Cad, 2 health left. It's getting pretty tight. I roll in Embo, all I need is 1 damage, and I roll 1 melee damage, and 2 disrupt and a 1 discard. Can Tom deal with that 1 damage? It's just 1 dice, shouldn't be too bad. We're both looking at our discard piles and considering our options. It's very close. Break off the attack, removes one of Tom's dice to remove my dice showing damage. Unfortunately, I at some point realized it's the discard that is the threatening bit, because I play Rebel, which you can only play when you have a discard side, which lets me play Active Cruelty from the discard pile, dealing 1 unblockable damage and finishing Cody off. There it is. Good game, Tom. That was pretty tight. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.